The first reason why we need a camping tent is protection from the elements. If you can protect yourself from the wind and the rain, you're much more likely to enjoy your time outdoors and in extreme situations, keep yourself out of danger. The second reason why we want a tent is protection from the bugs. Nothing's more annoying than trying to go to sleep with a mosquito constantly buzzing in your ear. Having a tent with a bug net on it will reduce the chances of having insects bothering you all night long while you're trying to sleep. When you're sleeping in a state park or national park campsite surrounded by other people, you're going to want to have your privacy. And having a tent provides that privacy. All right, so now we understand why we have camping tents. What are we looking for when we go to buy one? So the first thing you want to choose is, or decide upon, is how exactly am I going camping? Am I car camping, meaning that I'll be able to take everything with me in my car or SUV or pickup truck. I don't have to worry about just carrying it on my back. Thus, I can focus more on comfort, and I don't have to worry as much about size and weight. Or am I going backpacking? If you're backpacking, everything has to be carried by you. So we're much more concerned about size and weight when we're backpacking than if we're car camping. Next, we want to know is how many people are going to be sleeping in the tent. Tents are, you will see tents labeled 2-person tent, 4-person tent, 1-person tent, 3-person tent, 10-person tent. What you must understand about how they size tents is that they're not sizing them based on people and gear all being in the tent, even though that's how most of us camp. Instead, what they're thinking is it's how many people who are about 6 foot laying on a sleeping pad and a mummy sleeping bag, head to toe, like in reverse order, how many of those people could we fit? So the rule of thumb is take the number of people you expect to share the tent with and add at least one more person. I actually prefer to just to double it. If I'm going to be sharing a tent with another person, then I want at least a 4-person tent. So that way we have plenty of room again to get in and out and keep our gear with us in our tent. If you're going to be car camping, I also recommend getting a tent you can stand up in. Being able to stand up in a tent is a true game changer when it comes to camping. It makes it easier to put a cot in there so you don't have to sleep directly on the ground. And if you need to get dressed, it's a lot easier if you can stand all the way up as opposed to have to be hunched over on the ground and trying to do gymnastics as we change in and out of clothes. You want to look at your budget. There's a wide range of different prices in tents. And the reason why is cheaper tents typically will be made of less durable materials. They will, especially when it comes to backpacking, they'll be heavier, and they may not have as much ventilation. The more expensive a tent is, it's typically indicating that there is made of more modern materials that are better for weight and water management. Almost any tent you buy these days, even a cheap tent, is going to be waterproof when you get it out of the box. You're going to look for a 3-season tent. Even if you plan to camp in the winter, you're unlikely to need a 4-season tent. 4-season tents are made for heavy snow loads and really strong blizzard-like winds. Think about something like you would need to camp on Mount Everest. Most of us are not going to camp in those kind of conditions because we're camping for fun. So a 3-season tent will be just fine. So do look for a double-walled tent. A double-walled tent means that there's going to be an inner wall that is going to be made primarily of bug net. So they'll have they'll have a floor attached to it. Maybe you might see something that says bathtub. And that means the folds up and makes the bottom of a wall. And that helps reduce the chances of a tent flooding out in a rainstorm. But overall, that inner wall allows you to maximize ventilation. And then the second wall is a rain fly, and that protects your privacy plus the wind plus the rain. Now, with backpacking, you're always going to be focusing on weight and size. I prefer trekking pole tents. Trekking pole tents, what they mean is instead of having attached or including like aluminum poles with them that you need to assemble and then build the frame of the tent. Another trick if you're looking for buying a tent is you want to maximize your budget. You want to get beyond just the basic bare bones budget tent you might find at a Walmart or Amazon. Is look for end of year clearance sales. Now, camping can be year round, particularly here in the South, but up north, you'll tend to see camping season wind down around Labor Day, and you can often find deals on tents at that time. You can also check on places like Facebook Marketplace and old school Craigslist for deals as well. Now, once you do get your tent, before you take it out camping, put it up in your backyard. You want to make sure you know how to assemble it and take it down. You also want to get the garden hose and spray water over it to check for leaks. Or if you know it's going to rain, you can go and put the tent up in the backyard and give it the true rain test for you. And that way you can check for leaks and do any repairs you might need to before you go out on your camping trip.